Hello and welcome to Masters in Motion. I'm your proud host, Christine Dalgleish, and we are here on the beautiful traditional territory of the Lheidli T'enneh. Masters in Motion is all about seniors in sport. We'll meet athletes striving for their peak performance while others are simply passionate about what they do. And right now, we're going to show you how it's done. We're here at Aberdeen Glen Golf Course, and I've got a very special guest. This is Randy Mackus, and I just can't wait to share the story with you. It's very special, and I'd like to start, Randy, at the very beginning. And so tell me about your sporting life as a young person, as a child.
Oh, all the way back.
We're going way back.
Well, all the way back. As a youngster, I played hockey here in town, baseball, and of course school sports like basketball here and there. I was fortunate enough to play like Bantam Rep hockey, midget hockey. Even had a little stint with the Spruce Kings one playoff season.
Nice.
Yeah, the baseball teams, of course, represented Prince George in Little League, Babe Ruth, even in the senior men's in tournaments. What else? I guess I went away to Nipawin, Saskatchewan, played some junior hockey there. And that's the extent of my youth sports. As an adult, of course, with my children, I became a coach, a volunteer, football, roller hockey, baseball. I think that's about it for that part of it.
Is that all?
Yeah, is that all? That's about it. Yeah, that's about it for that. And then in the past, say, 10 years or so, I got excited about golf after taking a trip to Charlotte, North Carolina.
Can I just interrupt you, Randy?
Sure.
Can we talk about how you lost your arm
Sure.
up to your shoulder first, and then we can talk about what happened after?
Yeah, that works perfect. So in 1995, I was making lunch for my children as I was home from work one day. And I went to put a pot of water on the stove, and all of a sudden my wrist dropped. So I couldn't hold the pot of water in my left hand, and it seemed strange. Everybody's, even my kids are, Dad, quit messing around. And I kept working. I was working at the steam plant back then, and locally they had thought that I had something called wrist drop syndrome or a palsy, like I'd maybe slept on my arm on a funny angle or something like that, and it just persisted. So I arranged an MRI in St. Paul's in Vancouver, and it turned out that they found a dime-size tumor on my radial nerve at that time. And of course, nobody thought it would be anything other than just, malignant or whatever. So it wasn't going to be any problem. Take it out.
Okay, where's the radial nerve?
It's in this upper region here. Yeah, we got 3 different nerves: the ulnar, the radial, and the I can't remember the other one, Brenda. You got me off guard on that one. But it's only because I have ulnar nerve damage in my only arm. So I know that the radial nerve in this one it had a rare nerve tumor, neuroplexia, neurofibroma maybe it was called. And so anyways, they had gone in West Van to take it out, and then thought they could repair the nerve by taking some nerves out of my ankle or somewhere else on my body where you're not really going to notice it. Maybe give me 75% use of my left arm. And so, of course, that ultimately ended up being cancer. So they amputated me as high as they could to get 100% cure. And I've been cancer-free ever since.
That's so perfect, because that's what we need,
Yes,
right? We just need to be cancer-free.
That's right. So 28 years. I just recently had what you would call my ampuversary on June 6th. June 6th, 1996, my own D-Day, if you will, right? Yeah, and I always looked at it as a rebirth. I kind of emerged as something other than I was, I guess. Yeah.
And that's a wonderful way to look at it. And I think for a lot of us, we're just going to have to embrace what life hands us. And it looks like you've been doing that beautifully. So let's talk about your sporting life after amputation.
Okay, so I still continued to play OTL for a few years because at one time we were, up there. That kind of wore off. We all kind of got older and decided not to play anymore. But I played a little bit of rep hockey with one arm to be back on the ice with my friends and my fellow teammates. They would help me with my knee pads. I felt like a little kid sometimes, tying my skates for me and stuff. But managed to get a few games in and then just kind of walk away on my own, which was better than being forced out the way that I was forced out. And like I said, just say maybe 15, 20 years ago, we might have played a little bit of golf here and there, but it's just messing around with the boys. And then like I said, about 10, 12 years ago, a trip to Charlotte, North Carolina got me inspired because we played some golf on some world-class courses, and I met some new people from the East because it was a Panther fans, like a Carolina Panther fan kind of get together. And
what sport's a Panther? I'm
yeah,
sorry.
Sorry, it's an NFL, yeah. But I'm a Green Bay fan. But I went with a local fella here, a friend of mine, and there was lots of golf, and I seemed to do well with other people's clubs because I never really had my own. And I came back to town, and a group of friends of mine and we played Pine Valley Men's Night almost every Tuesday because it was easy for Buddy to get off work and then go straight home, and it was a quick round of golf. I had some pretty good success, and I ventured out to see what else I could do with golf. And it seemed to be therapeutic in a sense, really, for me, because after years of not being on somebody's team and taking care of my own kids and being volunteer-y, I wasn't really playing and getting any fulfillment on my own. So this was a challenge, and it still is. Golf's hard.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah, golf is hard, yeah. So, I play other things too now. I play pickleball, thanks to Gary Shalansky and Jamie Mold over at the Prince George Golf and Curling Club. I like stick curling. Who knew? And it seems to make sense. After playing hockey all those years, I probably should have thought about being on the ice before. But, yeah, so curling, pickleball, golf.
That's so perfect.
Yeah.
I really love that. So I know you're probably not, okay, I'm just going to say he's probably not very motivated, but we've got to get him to brag it up a bit because he's actually a championship golfer. And so tell us about the category that you're in and how long you've been really succeeding.
Okay, so this started during COVID. I found some organizations that had one-arm golf. So it started with the North American One-Arm Golf Association, and I met the qualifications. I joined as a member at the Prince George Club so that I could get a handicap, proper Golf Canada handicap, and I applied with the EDGA, which is European Disability Golf Association. So it's a world Disability Golf Association, amateur golf is what it is, and I needed a card or to be ticketed there in order to be involved at the tournaments for adaptive golf or even the one-arm golf. Like you could go, but then you're not gonna get any kind of score because you're not carded to get the scores as a disabled person, because some people unfortunately will claim to be disabled to participate when they really aren't. So it's not so that you actually had to prove. And so instead of having a doctor's note, this one was quite easy. I just took my shirt off, took a picture, sent it to Europe. They went, okay, Randy, you qualify. And so that's what I've been doing ever since. And so in 2022, my first year out, I went to a North American One-Arm Golf Association National Championship in Sailors Cliffs, Washington, and was just basically blown away by what I saw there, because there was all ages, 14 years old to 84 years old, and I had always just thought of amputees being the reason, and they're not. There's people that have other nerve injuries and other things that are afflicting their arms in really terrible ways that qualify as one-arm golfers. So in the USAGA, which is the United States Amateur Golf Association or Adaptive Golf Association rankings, I'm a G4 Sport, which is one arm unassisted, which means, of course, no other arm on the club. And I found that I was getting ranked by going to these tournaments and succeeding, and I'm currently 17th in that. And we have the world rankings for the European Amateur Golf Association for persons with disabilities, and I'm currently ranked 3rd in Canada in the Stableford and 148th in the world. But it is what it is, right? That was motivating me in the first year when I found out about it. 7 events last year and a whole bunch of money out of my pocket has kind of calmed me as far as trying to shoot up the rankings, because it's pretty expensive golf. If anybody knows, like, and especially to travel, because I'm not really that used to it. Mm-hmm. So at first I was just kind of going and not worrying about the money, but now it's hard to keep justifying it. Yeah, I just recently went to the BC Second Adaptive, where I finished 4th in the Stableford but didn't play to my expectations. Whereas last year in the first ever BC Adaptive, I was 2nd. So I brought home a really nice silver medal. So that was exciting, right? It's kind of a motivating factor. I guess probably my proudest moment, or the one that shocked me the most, was 2022 at my first Canadian National Championship, when the fella on the podium's announcing the winners of Stableford, and he calls my name, and I'm third place, and I had no idea, because if I keep score when I'm playing or think about scoring well, I play terrible. And so I don't like to think about it that way. So I was third place in a Golf Canada sanctioned all abilities event, and I was presented with a bronze medal, which was pretty cool. Like that was another motivating factor, right? I've had good success in the United States. Michigan 2022, the 67th Michigan Adaptive Championship. I played in the G4 Sports Senior Men's Division, and I was fortunate enough to win, even though I had blown a 6-stroke lead. So again, I knew the score going into the second day. Had I not known, it probably wouldn't have been as close as it was, but fortunately I ended up winning that. And then last year in Galveston, Texas, to end 2023, again I played in the Texas Adaptive Open and played in the G4 Sports Senior Men's Division, and I was fortunate enough to win. So,
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And so, Randy, I always look for the inspiration. And so I know that that's important. That's important to him too, you guys. So why don't you just share a little bit about how you'd like to motivate and what your dreams are of having a tournament here, actually.
Yeah, it would be great. I've met at least 3 other arm impaired golfers here in the last year and played with them all. I played with a fella recently, another Randy, who's missing his lower portion of a leg due to a workplace accident many years ago. He's a phenomenal golfer, and I keep telling him that he would do well in these events. And so the best way for us to maybe get our community out, and it doesn't have to be competitive, but just that golf can be therapeutic as well. And that's what he found working through his injury all those years ago, and that's what I found as a motivator for me sometimes was, get up and go hit some balls, right? Instead of, I can't necessarily hang that piece of gyprock by myself because it's too high, but I can certainly go hit a half a bucket of balls instead. So instead of the what can't you do part, you look at what you can do, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Success is a drug too, though, right? Like you had success, then you want to keep doing it, but I really don't want that to be the focus of what I started on. It was more or less to help an awareness of people with differences, disabilities, if that's what we're going to call them, can still belong, still do things, and still hopefully be treated as though they belong. Because it's like for me, in my instance, I've got such good friends, and the community here has been absolutely fantastic to me most everywhere I go and whatever it is I'm doing. But it's a two-handed world. Like I struggle with opening a simple Glad garbage bag some days. You rip it off the roll, go to change it. I can't get it open. A lot of people say they can't with 2 hands either, but instead of me arguing with it and being defeated by that garbage bag that day, it goes back in the shelf and I pick out another one, and I keep doing that until one opens the way I want it to, instead of arguing with it and fighting with it and being disturbed by it. Similar guys who do construction would be when I put a screw on the end of a drill bit and it falls off. And then I bend down and pick it up and put it back on, and it falls off. And you just got to smile and never quit, right?
And take a look, never quit. Everybody has to listen to them.
Yeah, never quit. Well, that's actually the North American one-arm golf logo. Yeah, this is the North American one-arm golf logo and their slogan. And I didn't want the whole logo, so I just got the never quit part because it applies to everything. Because it's so easy, it seems like, to give up sometimes. And once you do that, it becomes even easier. I used to tell my kids that once you fail once, it's going to be easier to fail again. And so the idea is try not to fail. I mean, we're all going to not always get our goals, but the idea is to not give up on them. So.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Randy. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Masters in Motion, and I certainly was inspired, and I hope you were inspired to move a little too. We'll see you next time.
Absolutely torch that one.
That was crazy.
Right?
You did well.
How come? Well, I'm just wondering how come why I didn't do that. I didn't use this club at all.